within one vote of a filibuster-proof Senate. Joining us right now is Congressman Paul Ryan. He is the ranking member of the Budget Committee and a member of the Ways and Means Committee. And Congressman Ryan, earlier today we had a standoff between Howard Dean and Dick Armey. And Howard Dean gave President Obama an A for the first 100 days. Dick Armey gave him an F. Where do you come down on this grading?
Probably a little closer to Dick Armey, I guess I'd have to say. Howard Dean's Democrat, Dick Armey's Republican. That would have been an interesting exchange. I would have liked to have seen it. First of all, the budget, as you mentioned, Becky, does come today to the floor of the House. It will be passed. It is the president's budget. They were able to, they were very successful in getting their agenda through. So Dean is right in saying the things they set to achieve, they basically have achieved in the first 100 days. Now, what they've achieved, you know, is something that we're very, very concerned about. This budget now paves the way for the tax legislation, for the health care legislation. We're also moving to the cap and trade legislation here in the House. So we've got a full summer. And by fall, their goal is to get all this stuff into law. Cap and trade, health care, tax increases, big spending bills, all by probably late October.
But Congressman Ryan, you're not opposed to seeing deficit spending this year when we're in the middle of a very difficult economic time.
Look, we don't have a choice. We're going to have deficit spending. The debt is going to go up. Yeah. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to get it going down? Are we going to get spending under control, or is it going to get out of control? That's the question before us today.
And we watched the president's favorability ratings. It's off the charts at this point. I mean, you're talking about very, very strong approval ratings. So what makes you think that you can stop any of these plans that the administration has put out?
Well, look, we don't have the votes to stop this budget today. And so then we move on to the component pieces of the budget. The president's a very popular man, and he's a guy you enjoy spending time with. The policies are a different thing. So we go to cap and trade, and I think we have a really good chance of defeating that here. Then we go to the tax increases. Because that has reconciliation, they're probably going to get all these tax increases passed. So if I was betting in the market, cap gains is going up, dividends is going up, income tax rates are going up. Then it's health care legislation. That's going to be the big issue this summer. Here in the House, they want to do this government-run plan, which will basically crowd out the private sector. In the Senate, we're not so sure exactly which they're going to end up with. But at the end of the day, they want to have a government-run health care system that effectively nationalizes 17% of our economy.
Congressman Don Peebles, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
I've got a question for you. I like the proposal that you've made in terms of minimizing or reducing the burden of our manufacturing industries who export their products to help level the playing field for our manufacturing industries that are exporting products globally to make us more competitive. Where does that stand right now in Congress?
That's a really good question. We're going to have a big fight on this part of the tax code in Ways and Means Committee, which I also serve. I think we should switch our corporate tax system to one that we can border adjust our tax system. So we border adjust it off of exports onto imports and have immediate expensing for all plant and equipment. What the administration and Chairman Rangel want to do is repeal deferral, which is sort of the opposite. They want to make sure that our multinational corporations that make things here and sell things overseas get double taxed on those exports. I, on the other hand, have advanced legislation and on behalf of my party to make sure we don't double tax our exports, that we actually level the playing field. Big difference in approaches. We want to border adjust and level the playing field. The administration wants to repeal deferral, which will actually effectively double tax our multinationals overseas. Last time we did that with the shipping industry, all the U.S. shipping industries became foreign shipping industries. We think if this passes, and we're going to have a big fight on this in Ways and Means this summer, if this repeal of deferral occurs, we think you're going to see a huge trend of foreign companies taking over U.S. companies.
Congressman, one quick question on Arlen Specter. Olympia Snow writes in the Times today that being a moderate Republican feels like being on an episode of Survivor, saying there's no scenario under which Republicans can grow into a majority while, as she says, shrinking our ideological confines. Do you ever feel like you're on an episode of Survivor?
Well, I'm a conservative, so I'm a little more in the majority in the party.
So the tribe still wants you.
So yeah, so I still get that. I don't watch the show, so I can't even give you a Survivor analogy. But she's right. We need to have a big tent party. We need to say, look, if you believe in free enterprise, limited government, self-determination, the principles that build this country, we want you in our party. All these other issues can be debated, but those are the core principles. If you like those, stick with us. Let's hang together.
Congressman, you mentioned that you think taxes are going up. You think that happens in this year, or do you think it gets put off to the next year?
Maybe on a few other things. I think you're going to have some base broadening. The repeal of deferral will probably be delayed a year. Most of the tax increases will occur at the end of next year.
Okay. Congressman, we want to thank you for your time.
Sure.
More to talk about, but we'll have to have you back again soon to do that.
All right.
Thank you very much. Again, Congressman Paul Ryan. That GDP report, we just got it out. The Fed meeting results are on the way as well. We've got Bank of America and Morgan Stanley. They're both facing their shareholders today. It's all in a day's work for the markets. But what will be driving